Hi, this is Mandy from Sunflowers and Doors. Welcome back to my messy channel. I hope you're all well. Today we are continuing with the 31 tags in 31 days project. And today we're going to play a little bit more with some different types of media. So we're just going to do a plain tag-ish, but we are going to add a couple of different elements to it. So I'm going to start off. I've got a load of acrylic paints. So I don't use them enough. So instead of going with the normal distress inks and that sort of thing, I'm going to go with some acrylic paints. And I'm going to get really messy. So at the moment, I think possibly those colours we're going to work with. This is from my last block with my last acrylic paints on. I'm sure that'll come off if I scrape it, but it just reminds me which one's which. So I've got my tag shape here, which is 6x3, 3x6 even. And all I'm going to do is just going to mix a couple of these colours up. I'm not going to use a paintbrush because I think it gives you too much of a brushed type of stroke. Sponges would probably be great with this. But I don't actually have any. I've got some on order from one of those, crafting sites. So I've got one on order. But until that comes, I'm going to go old school and just use my fingers. And we'll see how we get on. And I'm literally just going to mix a couple of these colours up. And I'm just going to use my finger just in circles and just going to smudge these colours, and we're going to go for like a, I suppose like a balayage type look, The good thing with acrylics is they dry super quick, but it doesn't give you an awful lot of smudge room to play with. So, but that's okay, because I would prefer them to dry quickly and let me move on to the next stage than not. The camera is actually quite dark on this because this is a lot lighter than it looks. It looks very dark, but it's not. It's actually a lot lighter than it looks, and it's got like because of the fact that we've blended things the way we have, it's got like a mottled type look, which is cool. So very happy with that, and we'll probably have to cover the back of that, but I think this is still a little bit damp maybe. Okay, so when you're happy that that is dry, we are now going to add some modelling paste. Now, if it's not 100% dry, that's okay, because it will seep up into the colour of the paste, which is quite cool actually. So I have got, these are my mixed media stencils. Try to keep them separate from the normal ones, because you just get absolutely wrecked otherwise. So what I'm going to do with this is I am just going to pop a little bit. Now this bag is in here for a reason. I've had this modelling paste for I don't know how long. It dries really badly. It really goes quite thick and loses its name. But if you put cellophane wrapping in there or a bag, it actually keeps it moist. So it actually works quite well. Now, because I'm going for like geometrical type shapes, I'm going to try and keep it in this line, which I've gone over already, but if you don't have any mixed media stuff, like modelling paste, then don't worry about it. Gesso actually does the same job, just not quite as thick. But mixed media is about just using different types of medias. It doesn't specify that you have to use certain ones. So if you don't have any acrylic paints, or you don't have any modelling paste, then do what you've got. It could be that you've got sprays, distress sprays, or inks, or waxes, or whatever. Literally, mixed media is just about using different types of media. So don't get hung up on what I'm using or what that looks like for you. Just play with what you've got and enjoy it. Okay. So I'm going to take this off here now. Put that on there so I can clean that up. If you're going to be using things like this and you haven't used them before, just be very mindful that once they dry, they're an absolute nightmare to clean. So either keep them wet while you're still working, wrap them in a baby wipe or something, or clean them straight away, because they're just an absolute nightmare to keep clean, and you do end up wrecking your stencils then. Okay, so I'm going to pop all that there. I think I've almost come to the end of this. It's starting to really go a little bit not so nice now, but it's lasted well, considering I don't use it very often. Okay. I know people love mixed media, but it is the messiest ever. So we've got our tags there. I'm just going to dry this one off a little bit more again. So that is dried up a little bit more. Okay, now what are we going to do next? I do want to try and use the last of our daisies on here some way. So that will go on here like that. So I don't think we need to worry too much about lots of different embellishing, because I think that actually goes quite well, especially over this section a bit. So I would just want something really to fill that area there. And I don't know whether I'm going to have anything that's suitable colour-wise. I think that might, I think that might go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down. And what I would say, I'm going to use Fabri-Tac with this, just because it's onto a different surface other than paper. So I just want to make sure it sticks, and it sticks well. What I would say is, with this one here, we're going for a very minimalistic mixed media look. All we've used is a couple of different types of acrylic paint. We've used some texture paste. I was contemplating putting some splatters on it, which is still a possibility, but again, like I said, I don't want to overkill. So just some ink splatters, and then of course there's other things that you could do if you wanted to. So I'm just going to pop that on there like that. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. And then I have got some white ink that I'm hoping I might be able to just do a couple of, not really splatters, but a couple of droplets more than splatters, you know. So I've got here somewhere a little brush. I'm gonna see whether this will work. And I'm just gonna go around the green pieces. Just to break that up a little bit. And we could even put some onto here, just avoiding the going over too much of the flower. So yeah, just put that in. And then the last thing I want to do, once I'm happy that those are dry, is I'm just going to cut the tag shape on here. Don't have to, you can leave it as it is, but I just want it to, you know, be clearly defined as a tag. So one there. One there. And then that is it. So a really simple mixed media tag. If you want to, you can ink around the edges. That'll give it more defined look around the edges. I don't think I've got any decent greens that would work. And I don't really want to spoil it because I do quite like it as it is. But you can ink around the edges. You can put an eyelet in there or a topper with some thread and some ribbons and laces, whatever you want to put on that, to soften that a little bit more. You can then back it to hide some of these paint marks and use that as a journaling space. But yeah, a really simple mixed media tag. Like I said, it doesn't have to be complicated to use mixed medias. It really doesn't. And as I said as well earlier, if you don't have the stuff that I've used, improvise. You know, you can use distress sprays, you can use distress inks and oxides, and just play with different colours. And if you've got gesso, you can use that instead of the modelling paste. Sometimes I've used some of the grit pastes, which gives it some fantastic textures. You can use embossing. Even stamping, you know, if I really wanted to, I could add a couple of stamps on top of that just to break up these areas a bit more. So yeah, I mean, there's a stamp there which is like a butterfly stamp that would probably look quite cool if I pop that over there as a stamp, you know, just part on, part off the paper. But I'm not going to. But again, it is an option, you know, so there's loads and loads and loads you can do with that. But it just wanted to show you that mixed media doesn't have to be the most complicated thing or the scariest thing in the world. It can be really, really simple. So that is it, our mixed media tag. I hope you enjoyed that, and I do hope you'll have a go. Be interesting again to see what you think. Pop your comments in the comment section below, and I can't wait to see your pictures on our Facebook group. But I'll leave it there for now. So until next time, as always, stay safe and be well, and we will catch up soon. Until then, bye.